Hey Canucks fans, my name is RevTrev and welcome to Kempner Canucks. Today we're going to be talking about Canuck fans are frustrated and what's new, right? Because at the end of the day, we made a trade and this is the thing that I don't get. And I get that, I don't get that fans are always mad and I've been guilty of it too. So I don't want to act like I'm like this perfect, innocent person, bystanders here. But let's be honest, it didn't really matter what the Silovs trade looked like. For the most part, people were going to get really frustrated and upset, and I get it. You wanted more. You felt like there wasn't enough return. But what I've learned is, in just listening to the fans, reading online what their concerns are, is that it actually has very little to do with Artur Silovs, and it has a lot to do with Thatcher Demko. So the people who have been the biggest complainers or critics, maybe is the better word, because some are just complaining, but some are honestly being good, like just critics, is that why did we give Thatcher Demko an extension for $8.5 million times 3 years? Couldn't we taken that money and reallocated it to something much better, like a second line center, an elite top six forward? The question is, let's just say, for example, we kept Lankinen and Silovs, and let Demko walk, and because people are saying he's injury prone, and that's why people are upset. And you know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. He has definitely struggled with massive injuries. The future. This is why I was shocked. Like, are we going to give him that much money? I can see the term being lower, but I get the argument. But here is what I was thinking regarding that. So let's just say we moved on to Demko, or we just kept him for this last year and seen what happened first. So you didn't have to re-sign him July 1st. But he had a whole year at $5 million and see how he plays. Okay? But even if we had moved it, okay, let's just say we completely traded him away, got some kind of asset in the process. But what would you get in return for a injured or injury-prone Demko? What would you use that $8.5 million for? Would you have been able to land somebody like Nikolai Ehlers? That you couldn't get Bennett, he extended. Couldn't get Duchesne, he extended. Couldn't get Brock Nelson, he extended. Couldn't get John Tavares, he extended. So what if you have that extra money? To do what with it? Now, I get it. The big concern is Demko, right? And it's the injury risks, it's the term, it's the contract. But I've seen so many people in the comments, not only in my channel, but in other, like whether it's my TikTok, my YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, doesn't matter, on X, saying we should have traded Lankinen and we kept Demko and Silovs. Like, what's the most comfortable you would have felt? Like, I feel very comfortable right now walking into the season with Demko and Lankinen as our guys. I think it's sad that we're losing Silovs. It turns into a casualty, right? If you think about it, Silovs signed that 2-year deal, which was awesome for him because when he went to the AHL, he didn't make 80 or 90,000. He made 850,000. It was guaranteed money. And because of that, it bit him in the butt, so to speak, that he couldn't stay on, or maybe bit our team in the butt, because he had to pass through waivers, and we were going to lose him for nothing. Like, I get that you don't like the return, but really, here's the thing about Silovs that's the biggest question about anything is, what were you realistically thinking we would get for him? And second, why do you think that he's going to be a good starting NHL goalie? Like, for real? Yes, he had success in the international level, being an MVP. Yes, he's won a Calder Cup and was MVP at an AHL level. Phenomenal. I'm giving him all the credit in the world. I personally like him. He's won 5 playoff games. 5, okay? That's amazing. But the question is he going to turn out to be a good NHL starting goaltender? And then what would have you done in this scenario? Traded away Demko? The answer to trade away Lankinen is you can't. He's literally got a no movement clause for the next 2 years, and then he's got a no trade clause where it's 15 different teams that he can't for the remaining of his 3 years after that. Okay, that's how. Like, he's locked in. Lankinen in that deal is here. Now, Demko you can still trade this year. His no movement clause, so he can't be traded or put to waivers or anything without his permission, starts next season for all 3 years of that term. We're locked in. We're locked into this group. But I posted on Twitter, which three of the three options would you feel the most comfortable with walking into this season? Demko and Lankinen, Demko and Silovs, Lankinen and Silovs. And just, you can go on X, go under Kempner Canucks and answer there. I feel the most comfortable with what we're doing right now. And I'll tell you why, for 2 reasons. Okay? Quinn Hughes, like, this team is not looking to go to a rebuild here. This is full on, and I've been telling you guys this and you girls this for months. That Alvin and Rutherford were not brought in to do a rebuild. They're here to make the playoffs, to try to build this team into a contender. Part of that thing that's so important is keeping Quinn Hughes happy and keeping a star elite player. Let's just be completely honest with that. Make the playoffs. Keep Quinn Hughes, sign him to a massive extension. What will that extension be? I think it's going to be $12 million plus, and we need the money for that. Now, some of you are like, why would you spend all that money on the goaltending if that's what it's going to be? Because you know what? In this day and age, you honestly need a couple good goaltenders. And the Demko Lankinen combo is amazing. Am I sad that we lost Silovs? Absolutely. But when we drafted Medvedev, the goalie from the London Knights, who was the backup, by the way, who won, their team won the Memorial Cup. He's going to be the starter for the London Knights. He is the answer of the future, and they're going to give him about 4 or 5 years to develop, and then they're hoping that he takes over him, or Tolo Pilo, or Ty Young. These are goalies. We are so deep in goalie that we didn't have to keep Silovs. The problem is what the return was for Silovs that people are upset about. And what I think they forget, or maybe not forget, but they say the one side, but they don't say the other. Okay? So, awesome pedigree, two-time MVP, Calder Cup champion, 5 playoff games. Cool. But there's a good chance that Silovs is just a very great AHL goaltender. And he's not going to be a good starting goaltender. You had to lose one of those 3. And so that's why people are upset, because Demko, they're like, why did we keep injury-prone Demko? Why did we give him $8.5 million? I understand the argument, and you might not even be wrong. But I think there's a big difference between an AHL MVP, Calder Cup MVP, and a Vezina candidate goalie in Thatcher Demko. Like, let's be completely real with this. If Silovs comes to any place where he is half of what Demko is, when healthy, that is, then that's a big win for Pittsburgh, right? It's a win for, but is he going to get to a Vezina level caliber? Possibly, but most likely no. Most likely no. And so I understand that fans are frustrated. I get this, but we're closer to a playoff team and contending than we are, in my opinion, to a full rebuild. And a lot of people are concerned, oh, Quinn Hughes is walking anyways, and there's so many people worried. I'm telling you right now, I believe that he's going to stay. Captain, going to make great money. The direction they're going in is we want to win. We want to be competitive now. We want to be a contender now. We want to make the playoffs now and for years to come. That's why they did what they did. So you can be upset. You're welcome to have a different opinion than I am. But I have been really surprised at the frustrated fans who just think that we could have got a first round pick for Silovs. That was not on the table. Literally, we're assuming, like, I've heard fans say things like this, okay? They've said, RevTrev, you know what? We could have got way more for him. We should have traded him before we signed Demko. You're assuming, not me, you're assuming that management didn't try to do that. I'm assuming that the Canucks management know what they're doing and have attempted all avenues already, and this was the best deal that they could get. See, when Besser didn't get picked up by anyone, everyone was mad. You didn't get anything for him. Well, they saved their bacon because they ended up signing him. But what if we got to the start of the regular season, put him on waivers, couldn't make a deal happen, and he walks for nothing on waivers? That's terrible management. That's terrible management. They got lucky with, good old Brock Besser, right? Good old local boy. Well, not local boy, but like guy who's been drafted here, played 9 years here, going to play another 7 years. It's going to be Brock Besser is synonymous with the Vancouver Canucks. And I hope he ends up being part of a team that wins us our first ever Stanley Cup. But if you think about all these factors, we got something for him. Now, you might not be happy with what we got. I thought we were going to get a 4th round pick. That's it. End of story. So many people thought we were going to get a first pick. He's not a scare-off, guys. He doesn't have that kind of pedigree, even though he may be better than him, who knows. But we're trying to, like, think about what the goalies went for. These young goalies went for didn't come sniff close to what Silovs got. So we gave up. We got a 4th round pick, which exactly what I was hoping we'd get. Of course I wanted a 3rd or a 2nd, but that is seriously so unrealistic. We got rid of the cap space with $850,000 guaranteed for Silovs, okay? And we got a prospect in Chase Stillman. Now, a lot of people are not happy with Chase Stillman, but time's going to tell. So what if worst case scenario, all that pans out of this is that we have a 4th round pick. Now we got 3 4th round picks, I believe, in 2027. Maybe we can use those in other deals, okay? Or maybe we just draft 4 guys there. I know you're going to say, well, they hardly ever pan out. You're right. But some of them do. And what if one of those 3 pops, okay? And then one of those 3 4th round picks pop. And then maybe Chase Stillman just needs a change of scenery. He's a fast, gritty player. What if he becomes a 3rd line right winger for us? Success. What if he becomes a 4th line right winger for us? Success. That is a roster player that we don't have. Silovs is not sniffing the NHL on this roster with Demko and Lankinen that are ahead of them. Now, if Demko gets hurt, you're going to see, I told you, RevTrev, I told you, everyone. And it's like, well, injuries can happen. This is the gamble they're taking, right? But Stillman, maybe Stillman produces. He's only 22 years old and we're already writing him off? What? Maybe he'll be a late bloomer. Or maybe he's just an AHL guy and that's it. There's no risk in making this move. And everyone's going to say, oh, he's going to slay it in Pittsburgh. Is he? With that defensive core? With that rebuilding model? No. I mean, I hope so for his sake, for sure. I hope he does really well in Pittsburgh. But come on. Let's think this through, everyone. I get you're frustrated. I'm happy. I'm happy because we got more than I was thinking we were going to get. But I'm also happy that they believe that Demko's healthy, and that's what they're doing. So I'm all in on that. I love Thatcher Demko. When he's healthy, he's elite. And those are the hardest things to find, is elite goalies. And we had one in our system. Now, let's pray for healing and for health and strength. Okay. But we just hope that Thatcher Demko is healthy and can play at a high level, which we know he can if he's healthy. And Lankinen is an incredible backup. And if Demko gets hurt, then we know Tolopilo is the backup. Ty Young's the backup. Maybe someone else. Patera is the backup. I don't know who it is. It's going to be somebody there that's the backup for us. And we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. But I'm glad we kept Demko. I thought the $8.5 million was pretty high, to be honest with you. The term was great. But yeah, anyways, love to hear your thoughts. Hit it in the comment section, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. And I'm going to hit this video to end, but go Canucks, go.